What's going on, guys? White Fox 1225 here, and today we have a video on Far Cry Primal. So this is a game that I did not expect to get announced. It got announced a few days ago. It really hit me just out of nowhere. I was not expecting a new Far Cry game or anything like that. I definitely wasn't expecting Far Cry Primal, but let's just go over all the information we know. We're just going to be going over everything that you need to know and pretty much everything we know about the game. So by far the biggest change in this game compared to other Far Cry games is that this one takes place in 10,000 BC, so just a little timeline switch up from the last games. This one does take place in like Stone Age or caveman times, whatever you want to call it. It takes place, you know, in the primitive time of man, so it takes place a really long time ago. Obviously that brings huge changes to the story, you know, the gameplay and everything like that, so that's what we're going to be covering in this video. So you play as Takar. You're the sole survivor of an ambush on your hunting group. You know, you are like a seasoned warrior, so it's not like Far Cry 3 or 4 where you didn't know how to use weapons. You are like a seasoned member of your tribe, but your tribe is attacked and you're killed, and or at least your hunting party is killed, and you know, you're hunting and you just get ambushed, and you know, everyone's dead except for you, and from then on you have to, you know, try to find your way in this, you know, harsh primitive environment. So you're gonna be fighting mammoths, you're gonna be fighting saber-tooth tigers, and you're also gonna be taking down rival hunters, and you're really gonna be trying to like get your way back to your tribe and kind of rebuild your tribe. So that's kind of a big part of the game, it seems like. You know, you're gonna be able to take people into your tribe, you're gonna have to provide for your tribe, you're gonna have to, you know, defend your tribe from attacks. So it seems kind of like you're building a group and you have to take care of them, which is something we haven't really seen in Far Cry. So it's gonna be cool to see how that plays out gameplay wise. Sorry. Obviously the game is not historically accurate, which the devs touched on a little bit. I kind of wanted to go into it a little bit. It's obviously, you know, back then you couldn't really make a video game that takes place in primitive time and having it be accurate because it would be so boring. It does seem like they kind of tried to stay grounded in reality, but obviously it's not going to happen 100%. Now in the trailer we saw that they weren't speaking English. I'm not sure if they are in the actual game or if they're going to put subtitles in. Honestly, I think it's almost impossible for them to make a game in like a primitive language. I don't think a lot of people would like it, especially with the mainstream audience they're going for. I think it would be pretty cool, but I think if not always in English, it'll at least be an option for you to be able to play in English. So let's get into the gameplay changes that we're going to get in this game, because obviously it's going to be a little different from the other Far Cry games. Still going to be open world, it's still a Far Cry game, so not that much has changed, but obviously there are some big differences. For example, there are no guns in 10,000 BC, so you're going to be crafting weapons out of bones of animals you hunt. Hunting has been a part of the Far Cry games in 3 and 4. Looks like it's going to be a huge part of this one. Definitely bringing the emphasis on, you know, hunting and then having to make weapons. In terms of what weapons we'll see, I'm sure we'll see like a bow and arrow, you know, a spear, stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see like how much of a variety of weapons we have, because there's only so much you can make out of bone and stuff like that. They said you're going to have to use fire a lot. They said it's going to be really important for protecting yourself at night especially. I'm sure you can like have a fire arrow and stuff like that. So definitely going to be like a big part of the gameplay is going to be fire. Outposts will be returning, so just like Far Cry 3 and 4, your enemies will have outposts that you can, you know, invade and take over however you want. I'm sure stealth will still be a part of the gameplay, so I don't think the gameplay is changing up too much other than the fact that obviously we don't have guns or anything like that, and I think hunting and gathering is going to be a pretty big part of the game, a little bit more than Far Cry 3 or 4. So let's go into the release date real quick. So February 23rd, 2016 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and it's coming out for March for PC, which is kind of sad because we get it a month late, which we don't actually usually see. If anything, usually PC gets games early, so a little sad, but I guess we'll just have to deal with it. So now I just want to touch on my thoughts about the game, how I kind of feel about the new setting and everything like that. So it's definitely interesting, it's definitely cool that they switched things up. My biggest fear for Far Cry, you know, 5 or the next Far Cry game was going to be that it was going to be the same. I felt Far Cry 4 was a little too similar to Far Cry 3. It kind of felt like, to me, they kind of tried to redo the game but make it a little newer, which is something I think they kind of failed at. Not that it wasn't good, because it was good, but it just wasn't as good as Far Cry 3 in my opinion, and it kind of felt like the same thing over again, just not really executed as well. So I'm definitely excited they switched things up a little bit. I think the new setting is cool. We're gonna have to wait and see how it works out, because I think it could work out really, really cool, or it could turn out to be absolutely terrible. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see for that. One thing I think is that we don't really need a Far Cry Far Cry game every year or every like year and a half. I really don't think it's that kind of series. You know, it's not Call of Duty, it's not Battlefield. I could use a Far Cry game every 3 years, and if they were all done really well, I would have absolutely no problem, and I would feel no need for another one. I think what they're trying to do is make this like Assassin's Creed, where we get one every single year, and I think eventually when you do that, you end up repeating yourself so many times, and the games just get boring, and they kind of just get, you know, different versions of each other, different reskin versions of each other, and the story's not as good, and it's just not that interesting. You know, when we got Far Cry 3, we'd waited so long for another Far Cry game, and they worked on that game for so long. My biggest fear is that they're just going to be pumping out Far Cry games every year, and they're just going to get more boring and generic over and over again. So I'm hoping that's not what happens. You know, I'm definitely hopeful for this game, but I'm really hoping they kind of hold it back and really take their time with a Far Cry game, and not just pump out the same game over and over again with a new setting and a new story. That's just kind of my take on it, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I will be making more videos on Far Cry Primal when we get more information, so make sure you stay tuned for that. If you guys want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, go hit the like button. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.